Sooners of Oklahoma at 12-0 and still looking for respect nationwide.
What is going on, Sooner Nation? Thank you all for tuning into another episode of the Barry and Mack Show. As always, myself, Barry, personal trainer, sports performance coach out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and alongside me, former Sooner wide receiver, 2000 national champ, Mr. Damian Mackey. How are we doing tonight on the post-game D-Mac?
This might be the Barry and Mack After Dark show. Everybody should be wondering what I have in my cup. You just might not know what's in the cup tonight. The calamity of errors, the abomination of execution, a defense that plays decent until you absolutely need them to. And man, we gotta talk about the quarterback. You know, you generally don't want to pick on one player and just be too irresponsible about critiquing one individual player. But listen, we'll get into all of the juices and berries of it tomorrow, because I took a ton of notes at this game. I actually was at home with my notepad taking notes, and man, 74 passing yards. Or how about, by the way, you can see it on TV. Listen, guys, for all the fans out there, our O-line is not SEC good, but they were good enough tonight. I love that they showed the all 22 on a play where Burks is wide open. You can feel it, you can sense it. Jackson's looking at the rush, he's not looking at the play, and the pocket is perfect. I'm so happy they showed on TV so that the lazy boy quarterback who says our offensive line sucks. No. They did what they were supposed to do. Or how about the sack? And here I go, right? I'm jumping right in. How about the sack he takes when the backer delays? Everybody says the offensive line is terrible. Everybody says the freshman running backs don't know how to block. Go watch whatever the offensive scheme was. They went man, or they went slide protection one way, backside tackle, and running back go 2v2. You cannot ask a running back to have a man who he's responsible for backside, which Tatum did, and then have a free backer delay and come. You know whose guy that backer is who got the sack? The guy who Jackson watched hit him from 8 yards away. That's Jackson's man. Have you guys ever watched a game where you can hear the quarterback? He say, "That's mine. That's mine." The quarterback is letting everybody know where the protection is, and that's the guy the quarterback's accountable for. Listen, our offensive line is not dynamic, but we have rushing lanes against an SEC team.
We got
rushing lanes.
Yeah, 100%.
And so tonight, I'm just gonna be reacting again. I'm gonna keep my handy dandy mystery cup right here with me. Terrible game. The way we lost that game could cost someone the job. So
yeah, I mean, it's about as bad as you lose a game, right? Because you've worked all your whole way to come back. You have typically when you force and recover a fumble on defense for a score, you typically win that game. Right, but
unless you have a turnover on special teams. So we watched each other, because we had a turnover special teams, and then we had a scoop and score. So those two cancel each other out.
Yeah, 100%. It was not good. Turnovers lost the game. I was listening to Teddy on my way up to the gym. I had to charge my computer, y'all, and I was listening to Teddy, and he said keys to the game were force Pine to go the distance when it came to them scoring. Right, make Pine have to go the length of the field. Don't give him big explosive plays, and they did that. You're right, until the very end. OU's defense was very solid up until you needed a stop, and then it was like they just couldn't get it back in, man. It's like you hit that jack in the box, and that sucker pops out, and you can't put it back in the box. And they struggled to limit the explosive play at the time they needed to limit it. And I think if we're going to go positives, right, just reacting, the two best running backs played tonight. on the team. Tatum and Xavier Robinson. That was the first time all year that we saw two running backs look good, and not just good. I'm talking more physical and more talented than the opposition's players, but then also actually punishing the defenders for trying to make the tackle, right? Tatum put his head down and made guys pay for it tonight. Xavier Robinson, they gave him an entire drive, right? And they just said, "Go get it." And the offensive line, for as bad as they were, it's hard to defend 58 when it comes to passing scenarios, but I was watching him closely tonight. He did not give up near as much. It really wasn't him who was the issue. It was a lot of the delayed protection, some of the stunts. Missouri got there in different ways, but I think they played him as well as 54, who we were kind of high on early in the year. I think they played him a lot, and I played that unit together because they knew they needed to run the football, and those guys are good in the run. 73 still gets moved around and pushed back too much in the run game. You don't know if 55 knows the whole playbook. Like that, there's so many other things going on there that's probably why that unit played, and it's an away game, so you want to limit the mistakes. But DMAC, I want to go just quick reaction on the defensive side, and then we'll get back to Jackson receivers.
Oh, you being
But
nice. You being nice because
yeah.
I have plenty to say about offense, but we can talk defense. Go ahead.
We'll
Go
go
ahead.
defense first. We'll
Yeah,
kind of
that's fine.
bury the lead here, keep the people engaged. And at the end of the day, it was the final score given up in the end zone. Eli Bowen up against Weiss. It's a tough matchup. Weiss made a hell of a play. I mean, at the end of the day, he wanted something like that, and they did it. But the big issue was the plays preceding that, right? That you needed to limit the burden throw, right? You got to be able to get over on that. I believe that was 5, but we'll go back and look. I think he got behind 5. It was just a matchup that they created. It was
You know what
26
happened?
played a lot.
Since you,
What happened?
sinch 19
Let,
falls
let,
down. The
was
19
that what
falls
it
down.
was? Okay,
They've got
I
three deep
didn't see the
coverage.
replay on it.
They've got three deep coverage. 19's playing a deep safety. If you go watch the
Hmm.
play, they run some kind of crossing route underneath, and Luther's in the slot. He kind of wheels to the sideline. um, Woody's supposed to carry, which, by the way, he's Woody's man. If you guys watch on most of those plays, I actually kind of like this, and I'm going to talk about what the hell they did versus what we did. But I kind of liked they said, "Hey, Woody, we're going to put you man under on Luther Burden." If
Yeah.
you guys go watch, 75% of the time in those last 5 minutes, Woody's playing man under, and I think they're just saying we're going to intentionally take him out of any type of, rub route you're trying to create. Keep safeties over the top. The play's a pick. The game's over if Jacoby doesn't fall down. On the play where Burton catches the fade on their sideline, Jacoby's the deep safety. He's right there. He falls. He literally falls, and Woody can't carry him. Of course, he runs by Woody, and he makes the play on the 10-yard line. But it's just a calamity of errors. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, BV's looking at it like, I can't believe this happened. But when you're on a team that's undisciplined, when you're on a team that's not prepared, when you're on a team, listen, on Weiss's first touchdown, since we're talking, like I could stay on the soapbox for the next 10 minutes. On Weiss's first touchdown, he literally runs right by Danny. Danny is right
Yeah.
there. They literally high five each other. Danny just doesn't tackle him. I don't know why Danny doesn't tackle him. I don't know why. He literally, go watch the film. I watched it twice. Danny's right there. He literally just has to tackle him. And I think that's 3rd and 10 or 3rd and goal. Danny doesn't. He's probably tired or meant to, because they ran a really good, by the way, the way they set that play. I'm talking about the tunnel screen on the 10-yard line to
Yep.
score their
That they
first
ran
touchdown
in
of
the
the week.
goal. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got the running
Yeah.
back going
Eight
wide, so our
meters.
guys think it's going to be a screen outside, and they tunnel it underneath that, which is a really good kick out. But Danny's right there. Like, Danny is literally right there. I don't know why he doesn't make the play. So I look at our defense, and since you're talking defense, Barry, yeah, let's talk defense. Hold on,
Let's
let me
do
take
it,
a swig.
man.
My mystery cup. Hold on.
Take a sip of the mystery cup, baby.
Here's my problem. And man, I don't have a lot of sway to talk about who my coaches is and this and that, because that was bad. But We play defense, we're in big zones. We give guys free releases. We're playing against a quarterback who threw 3 interceptions in his last game. And every snap, pre-snap, coverage wise, I'm not talking about our front four, right? Our 42 and our 43, which means our D line and our backers, they're showing him different fronts, which is good. But on the back end, we are in a soft and off zone, or when we play man, we're in a retreat man zone. Go watch Weiss when he catches that slant on Jacoby earlier in the game when they're trying to come back. We are
Yep.
retreating at the snap of the ball. We're mirroring. We're doing a mirror technique. We are not doing a bump technique. That guy has no chemistry with his guys, and we are giving them free releases. That is coaching, that is technique, and as far as I'm concerned, that's scared. Go watch when they're on defense and we're on offense and we got our big dogs back. Do you know what they're playing?
They're
Bump
up in it. Yep.
man across. And guess what happens to Jackson Arnold? The same stuff we talked about in the pregame, right? I was like, Barry, it's really important that we don't give him chemistry with his guys. So you know what
Mhm.
Jackson is doing? Jackson's seeing ghosts because there's never a clean picture. Anything we run, there's no clean picture because they're in man across. They're not giving us anything off the line. They're bringing pressure, sometimes not a ton of pressure, and it puts Jackson in a position where he's, holy shit, I'm scared. Somebody said Jackson looked like a 5-year-old who saw a spider. Like, that's how, that's the type of energy he had. And I, listen, we scoop and score. I'll say that. Just let me rant for a bit.
Go
We
for it,
we
man.
they fumble, tie game. They fumble.
Yep.
You know what I immediately say? I wish I could have recorded it. I said, "Oh, this is Boise 2006 all over again."
Oh,
Do you know
wow.
if Billy Bowman takes that, runs to the 2 yard line, takes a knee? Now, granted, right? They've got 3 timeouts. So I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm like, in Boise, they only had 1 timeout. We literally could have ran the clock out, kicked the field goal. But let's just say Billy takes that ball instead of scoring and takes a knee on the 2. We force them to use their timeouts, right? And then
Mhm.
on third or fourth, we kick the field goal, whatever we do, we take the lead. They're in a position where the only thing they're trying to do is tie the game. The only opportunity they have is to tie the
Yeah.
game, no timeouts, a minute or something left, right? A very, very short time
Yeah.
left. And at worst case scenario, we're going to overtime. Best case scenario, they've got to now throw the ball with their quarterback, which actually they actually did anyway. But
Yep.
anyway, I just said to myself, I said, "Oh, we got the lead," but I said it's not safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
Like,
was
it's
too
not
much
safe. Like,
time.
there's too much time, and we aren't football smart. And listen, if I'm Billy, who knows? Maybe I take that too. So I'm not. There's no critique to Billy. We talked about this in the pregame too. Billy's gonna opportunities present. Billy's gonna be there. He's gonna make the
Oh,
play.
for sure.
Right.
But
That's
he
one
made
thing
some good
Billy can
hits
do.
tonight. He had a good hit on
Oh,
the
he
on
had
the
a
4th
good, he had a
down.
great hit on fourth down. But
Yep.
I said to myself, I said, this just feels like Boise '06 to me. And of course, next play they threw a slant to Weiss, and he gets about 30 yards, and that's the one on Jacoby
Yep.
the first time. And then the next
That
play,
set it up.
it's 3rd and 10. Did you see the hold they called on Woody? It's a
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a terrible call. It's a call you can't call unless you want this game to continue if you're a ref. I think if we're at home, they don't call the play. I think it's home cooking for them. He
Mhm.
scrambles, and the receiver doesn't make an attempt to try to do anything. Woody's just kind of holding him, which he shouldn't have done
Yeah.
in all fair. But like, they're both just together, kind of hanging, and they call the hold. And then of course the next play, Jacoby falls down while Woody's trying to carry. So I say all that to say, when we're on defense and we're giving them what they've got a 5'11 backup, and we're giving him a clean picture on the back. I don't understand it. I don't know why we don't just play man across with 2 deep safeties. I get they got Bird and I get they got Weiss.
Yeah.
Put a man on them hardcore with 2 safeties over the top, backers at 5 yards, and rush them with 4. Quarterback's got to make a play where nobody, the picture's not clean. And you know how I know it's
Mhm.
good? Because it's exactly what they did to us. It's the
Yep.
exact coverage they ran against us, and boom, you see Jackson is undisciplined with the ball. How about they get the scoop and score back, bro? Like, how crazy is that? Like,
Yeah. It negated everything.
didn't score. And on the play, Hester's open.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It looks like you know when you saw Baker come back from 15 to 16, you saw a guy who even from what he was at Tech to 15, his decision making, man, was so much better. And it was as if like he really was in the film, he was working on his game, and maybe it was the transition, maybe it was, who knows, right, as to why. But but Jackson, maybe this is who he's been the whole time, but we felt last year watching him, even in against Arizona, that the decision making wasn't this poor. And it's not like just he's throwing into a coverage he shouldn't throw into. He's trying to fit into tight windows. It's like Landry Jones with like a 10-time multiplier. Like
Like
he's,
the third person to bring up Landry. Landry could
but
sling that mug, bro.
he
Landry threw
could.
for like 10,000 yards. Jackson's throwing for 74.
And Jackson is making Landry. It was one. It was typically
Oh,
against a very good team, right? It would be something that would cost you, but when they played teams like Missouri tonight, that he would have thrown for 350, right, and about 3 touchdowns. Like Landry was still getting the job done, but Jackson is making so many bad turnovers. The other thing is he's late across the middle to Burks or whoever he's throwing to. He is consistently late and he's leaving so much time for his guys to get hung out to dry. I'm going to highlight that on OU Insider this week, right? The moment that guy has broken free, right? Because you're playing with, you've got defender behind, you've got defender essentially in front, right? Another guy who's coming at you. The quicker, it's just science. Like the quicker you get him the ball, the quicker he gets his head turned around to make an evasive maneuver. Now you're in a better situation. If you wait every little half second that you pat that stinking ball, you give your receiver less space, but to the point where he's catching it and getting clobbered, right? Baker got better at this, but with Jackson, like this was the stuff he was supposed to be really, really, really good at, and this was probably, I think you're right, D-Mac. This was probably against good competition. This was the best the O line has played most of the year, right? This is up there with some of how some of their better looking nights, right? It
Barry,
wasn't perfect,
Barry,
wasn't great.
we
Go
we've
ahead.
talked smack about the O line all year. I don't want to hear nobody talking about the O line tonight. We ran the
Yeah,
ball
not
when we
tonight.
needed to. We
Yeah,
protected the quarterback when we needed to. The quarterback was the worst player on the field, and that is a hot
lost your
take.
game.
That is an emotional take. It is an honest take. The quarterback is giving the ball to the other team multiple possessions. The quarterback is missing plays that are wide open in clean pockets. There's another play, the next drive. I think it's when somehow we're back in their red zone and Jackson has to scramble. Quarterbacks should scramble to throw. Like we have this misconception that like if everything isn't perfect, the play sucks or the players suck or the scheme sucks. Guys, go watch Patrick Mahomes. Go watch Lamar Jackson. Go watch Pine. Go watch the other backup who played for the other team. The stuff wasn't there. Woody overruns the blitz one time. Woody gets washed. The kid steps up. He
Yeah.
makes a play. Go watch the play. It's the possession after the possession where he just misses Burks because he takes his eyes off the field and he starts looking at the rush. He scrambles. Hester flashes right in front of him, 8 yards in front of him. He's wide open. It's a 5 yard. It's a touchdown. It's a different possession. It's not the possession where Burks is wide open and they bring it back up. They show the all 22 and
Yeah.
he's running the crossfield, the over route. It's not that one. It's the next possession. It's third down. He has to scramble. He leaks to his left and he just sticks his head down. He's not looking to make a play. You can tell in his mind he's saying, oh shit. And every defensive coordinator in America is very simply saying, hey guys, if we don't give him a clean picture and you give him any type of pressure, he's going to say, oh shit. And you know what the armchair quarterbacks are going to do? The fans are going to do? They're going to say the O-line sucks. The running back sucks. The quarterback is the queen piece on a chessboard. O-line have different things they can do and can do. Receivers and running backs have different impacts they can make and not make. Quarterbacks touch the ball every single play.
Yeah.
We run hurry up until it's 4th and 1, and then we wait for them to get set up so they can stop us. Do you hear me? We run hurry up on possessions where we suck ass. We're hurrying up. We have a sucky play. We hurry up. We have another sucky play. We hurry up. We have a decent play and we get to 4th and 1 and we wait. We literally wait and let them get in position. This is not, am I exaggerating? Because somebody please tell me if I'm we literally waited for them to get set up so they could stop us. Oh, can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah,
Barry,
it's tough.
I listen.
Comments.
I haven't read them. I don't want to read them.
They're going tonight, man.
I don't want to read the comments, but I will say this: like, right, the coaches are playing for their jobs. And again, today's a bad loss. But today is one of those losses where some rich old dude calls Joe C. Like, are you sure you want to keep the HBC? Like, by the way, that conversation happens after a loss like this. The way we lost.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this in more details tomorrow, but I'm gonna be honest. And by the way, I'm gonna go against my own word. I'm gonna take the crow that I ate 2 weeks ago, and I'm gonna throw it back at you guys and say, screw you. I'm sticking to my guns. I don't care what anyone says. Hawkins is a better football player than Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold has talent through the roof, but so did Jeff George. But so did what's my man named Russell? What's my man Russell from LSU? 6'5", 260 pounds. Could throw the ball 60 yards on his knees. He could sit on his knees and throw the football 60 yards. That dude had talent. Guess what? He was not a football player. Jackson Arnold, he today, right now for Oklahoma, guys. I listen. I think I lost. I think I lost 3 followers today on Twitter because I was critiquing the kid. I'm sorry. I'm an alumni. I'm gonna tell the truth. Damn it. The kid is not. He's not a kid. The young lad who's probably making $1 million in NIL, he's not a great football player in the 2024 football season. He's not. If we're not playing Temple, I got to think of the games he plays. If we're not playing Temple or Maine, you're in for a fist fight. If we're playing Houston, I think we lose to Auburn if he's our quarterback. I think we are over in the conference and definitely not going to a bowl game if he's our quarterback. Because when the bullets start flying, Hawkins made one play. He was the best athlete. He was the best athlete on the field for one play, and it got us a touchdown. Oh, Barry, how are you gonna make me do it again? Joe John calls a great play, or no. Jackson makes a great read. They call the zone read, and he shows the ball, and so they blitz the backside safety. The black side safety doesn't even pay him no mind. Jackson pulls it. Jackson's down the sideline, and the TV literally showed the second angle. I said to myself, he's gonna hot dog out of bounds.
Oh, when he goes out of bounds,
he runs 25 yards. He hot dogs out of bounds. Guess what we get on that possession?
Cameraman out. Yeah,
we score a touchdown if he just cuts up. If he just cuts up, the play where we run the jet sweep throwback, and then he was like, I got to score. So you saw him cut up, and the safety couldn't get him because he has too much momentum. If he literally just cuts up, he literally hot dogs out of bounds. He thinks he's cute. I don't care what nobody says. I know I've played with guys who they have that kind of energy. Like, I'm fresh. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Again, if you're Baker Mayfield and this is OU Texas and you just hit Andrews on that out and up, the key moment, and it's the next possession, Baker Mayfield can do that. Jackson Arnold, bro, you got to dive every time. You can't slide. You got to dive. You got to get every yard because you can only throw for 74 yards in the entire game, with all due respect. In an entire game, by the way, 30 dropbacks. We had 30 dropbacks. Barry, we had 30 dropbacks and we got 74 yards. We didn't throw a deep pass until we tried to throw one to Brennan Thompson. Oh, we tried to throw one to Hester as well. We ran an RPO and he ran a go route down the
Uh,
sideline. And it
yeah,
was way out of bounds. It wasn't too
but
high, but he threw it about 2 yards out of bounds.
yeah,
I I
but that stuff should have been there, right? With what they were playing, that stuff should have been there. You should have had guys like and Thompson be able to win. That's that they were even talking about it on the broadcast. Missouri was playing up so close to the line of scrimmage and muddying everything up within 10 yards that there was no space for Jackson to do the things he was good at, but he does not see and accurately throw those balls that are those big vertical passes down the field to force them to move back.
oh, I'm looking at the comments now. I don't want to read them. You
Yeah.
guys are gonna hurt my feelings.
Oof.
You
Yeah,
guys are gonna
it's
hurt my feelings.
the fact OU still, I mean, I want to go back and look and see, how many times they were running against like real heavy. I mean, it was a heavy box a lot of the night, and they still were able to move the ball. I know there was a few instances where they dropped 8 and Jackson found like Deion Burks over the middle, but and I saw a couple comments on them getting the receivers not getting separation. The receivers got separation enough at various times throughout the night. I did like seeing 88 come in there when they needed a big grab, and 88 made sure he caught the ball. See,
He
oh
didn't catch
no, 88,
he
that was the
didn't
drop.
catch
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
tried.
Dadgum. The
All right, our
fact
little
he didn't
our,
play was, I get it, but like there were moments where I felt like he would have been at least a safety net to get there. But at the end of the day, they ran the ball, and
they
in
were
a game
playing
where
man
you run
across.
the ball like that, man, that's crazy.
They were playing man across. That man across, he would have been toe up, just like when Ole Miss did it the second half when he had some success. Here's the thing, Barry. When teams play that, you got
Yeah,
to throw the fade. Watch this. When we
yeah,
finally got up on them and started playing man, what did they do? They threw the fade. They threw the fade
yeah.
to Luther. They threw the fade to Weiss. Like that's the beater. You know what else you do when people do that? You bunch your receivers and you run tunnel screens because
They
people are in
talked about
man,
that.
so they're not looking at the ball, they're looking at a man. And if you can get a couple linemen to kick out and you can get underneath them, you can be out the gate. Those are man bump beaters. We ran none. They ran theirs. People are probably going to get on Peyton or Eli. The one thing I wish Eli would have done, and I bet you he's kicking himself, he should have just pushed. He shouldn't have even
Yeah,
tried to play the ball. They were so close to the sideline. He's got to get a foot down. If Eli literally
yeah.
just pushes him, he doesn't get a foot down. Great play. Eli's right where he needs to be. He's not going to lose any props because of that. Jacoby falls down, which is really bad. He fell down, guys. The game's over. The possession before when they throw the fade to Luther. I mean, if Jacoby can catch a essentially a punt, but Jacoby's in perfect position to be right there for sure. Burden's not going to catch the ball, but because Jacoby falls down and Woody gets beat out of his socks, um, they get that play, and of course that kicks our tails. But Barry, I just think it's very you can't blame a game on one person. By the way, everybody talks about 58. I talk about 58 a ton. Brown,
Yeah.
he did not play
Yep,
bad.
Brown. He
He
did
did
he
not
did
play.
not, man. I
I,
was
saw- I, saw-
watching him close tonight.
he didn't play bad. He wasn't great. He didn't kill his guy. He didn't wash his guy. But like he was not like some crazy weak link that was like the justifiable reason why we lost. It's why I kept posting on Twitter like, no guys, that's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? If they bring six, and if the offensive linemen don't just whiff somebody, that's a scheme where either the quarterback had to see it, he set the protection the wrong way, or maybe a running back missed a protection, right? That's something that could happen. Guys, 80 to 90% of those plays are quarterback. Also, they're playing man. Watch this, Barry. Let's do some deductive reasoning.
Okay.
When teams play man, our offense,
Yeah.
what type of scheme would we run? Would we run rollout? Would we run progression? Or would we run quick game?
for our offense, when they're playing man, we would go progression,
Hell
right?
nah. Progression means that you
No?
got to drop back. Progression is
And
a
get,
long
I see what you're
read.
saying.
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
have time. We run
Yeah.
quick game.
Quick
We run
game.
quick game. The quick slants, right? You kept hearing them say, "Oh, they keep
Yeah.
running. They're trying to run these slants, right?" We're running quick game slants. Quick game is
Yeah.
a different set for the offensive line. The offensive line set on quick game is not designed to be 5 seconds. The offensive
Mm,
line is taking 2 quick steps, punching, holding, and a lot of times releasing. The quarterback is supposed to take his steps. Quick game is
yeah.
designed to be pre-snap. It's what we talked about with our
Mm,
triangle reads on the chalk talk. Quick game
yeah.
is a pre-snap. I'm the receiver. I look at their defense. Ooh, I'm probably the guy getting the ball. The quarterback will probably even give you a signal to let you know you're my read. You can tell when Burks is going to get the ball. They have a signal. You can tell when, oh God, here we go. Fire
Sharp.
sharp. Dude, we run a
Brother.
jet sweep, a tight end screen? Like he's like the featured guy. Like, what are we doing? The
Yeah.
dude
He has
gets all
3
the screen.
plays. I said when he caught that fake punt, I said that's the worst thing that's going to happen for tonight. I
I
said
actually liked it. Like, oh, he is a
it was
decent
great.
athlete.
Did you hear though the announcers when they realized in real time that they were talking about, yeah, Sharp's had a great night tonight. He's got 4 catches for 40 yards, and then McElroy's like, he had like 43 on the fake punt, so he's
He
really
said,
had 3 other grabs
he
for
said,
-3.
he said the best two throws of the night are from your punter and your running back. Oh,
Oh,
it was terrible.
brother. Yeah, man.
It
It's
was
not
terrible.
good. You're totally right. One of the things I was watching, Howland's footwork was better
I
tonight.
saw that. I
Like,
saw that.
it was better. There were a lot of good across the O-line. You're dead on, man. The offensive line was not what lost OU the game. You can blame it in some of these other contests, but at the end of the day, it wasn't. And they made Man, when Xavier Robinson had that drive where they just leaned on him, and you really knew that's what was coming. Even McElroy, or I think it was McElroy doing the game, he said multiple times that they're just running the same play with some different eye candy on it, but they were running the same thing, and it was great stuff. And that's what you want from Joe John. Being a good offensive coordinator. If they can't stop it, you keep doing it, right? And you allow the O line to get into a rhythm and be physical. I mean, I think at this point, Jackson, for him to remain OU's quarterback next year, like we'll see with the offensive coordinator thing, but he is going to have so much development take place. As somebody alluded to it, right? This is something that you just haven't seen yet. This was the perfect game, right? Where you go out there, you see it across the country every day. You see Indiana's quarterback do it, right? When they're playing Michigan today, they end up getting the win over Michigan 20-15. You never saw Jackson in the huddle saying, "You know what, this is our drive. We go win the game here," or hey, grab Burks or grab Tatum or whoever, right? Get the guys together and show that you care, and show that because body language matters. You don't have to be hugely rah rah, but Kyler Murray was one of the quieter quarterbacks to come through OU. But when OU needed a frickin' play, and Kyler would get in your face. He would show some attitude. He would let you
I
know
don't want to
about it.
speak about Kyler or Baker and any of those guys with Jackson
But
Arnold. With all due respect,
it
I don't want to speak about
was
none of those guys. You
it's
gotta
apparent
use.
that
You
is
gotta
not him.
use Brent
Somebody
Raw.
compared him to somebody put Bomar in the chat, and Bomar was a way better leader in terms of bringing and galvanizing guys and playing with energy.
Omar was
And he was a
cocky
better
as hell.
quarterback. And he was a better
Omar was
quarterback.
cocky. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Hey,
100%.
I want to do this. I want to do this. Let's show some love because I think this is appropriate to say, and my eyeballs didn't deceive me. We saw him against Maine, and we're like, huh. We saw him against an SEC team that is really good. Xavier Robinson is our best running back. He is probably the biggest difference maker on this offense as a true freshman. Listen when I tell you this. There are certain guys, and you saw it when we had P Ryan. There are certain guys that defenses tackle different because they are imposing.
Mm,
And although Tatum is a guy who has good vision, and I'd like to see the kid break out and see if he can run. Xavier is a guy that defenses have to tackle different, and because they have to tackle different, he's allowed to lean on you. And him today showing the ability to cut back, the ability to be patient, the ability to he's the first running back I've seen, and Tatum's done it a little, so I don't want to discount, but I saw Xavier Robinson get in the hole, press it, and then slow down enough to let his offensive lineman wash people out and then duck behind it. That's something that I've never seen Barnes do. Barnes has some nice jump cuts against Maine, and he got to the outside, but having the ability to feel your line coming and let them press the hole, so you're not waiting, you're not way back, but you're in the hole, and you give them just enough room to wash somebody and you get underneath it, guys. That's difference maker. Linebackers can't just go and try to slobber knock him because he could run you over. Safeties are deaf. Did you guys see the safety? He caught we ran a double slant and he ran a swing route. He ran like an arrow route, and we threw it to him. It was third down, and the DB is there. The DB doesn't want to hit him flush, so he dives at his leg. Xavier lifts his leg up, beats him. If that's Tatum, if that's Barnes, if that's Sawchuk, one of those other guys, he's going to try to take his head off because it's a hit, it's a fit that he feels comfortable doing. Xavier brings a different body type, and so in this offense, we don't know what our receivers can do because our quarterback won't throw the ball. I would hate to be a receiver. Burks is running the over route. He runs under one backer, over the other backer, and he's cutting across the field, and they stop it on the all 22, and it's a perfect pocket. Jackson's just looking at the rush. He's not looking up. Burks, if you see the play, Burks puts his head down in the end zone. Like, you can see Burks runs to the end zone, and then they have it panned, and he just puts his head down because that's a touchdown. You see Hester, he's kind of Jackson's kind of flustered. He leaks to his left. Hester makes eye contact with him, but he's already here instead of being in a position where he can make a play. And of course, we get a 1 yard gain or whatever it is. Our receivers could be great. We don't even know. Remember, Barry, in 2000, we had Josh Heupel, and everybody said we were the fast frosh, right? They call us the Fab Five, right? We had just come off 99 as freshmen. We were now sophomores, so they call us the Fab Five, frosh, right? Same exact group with Nate Hibble. Granted, the 2001 line was a work in progress too, but now everybody's like they suck. I don't think our skill guys are bad. Our skill guys don't have a Q that can get them the ball, and that's why I said, man, this is, again, I don't want to sound terrible, but it's the truth, guys. The worst offensive player we have right now is Jackson Arnold because he touches the ball every play. And we don't have an offensive line that just olays like they were olaying early in the year. The guys they didn't. And even when they got pressure, they were bringing 5 or bringing 6, and they were bringing delayed blitzes. They was really good scheme. They had a good defensive scheme. It wasn't guys just getting whipped. Our tackles, they're not, he doesn't have all day to be Statue of Liberty, but they were sufficient. Our quarterback is the guy who's got to be the trigger man. He's got to be the individual that's the executor, right? He's got to execute the play, and he's got to have. And when he gets a kill shot, he's got to kill. He can't miss. And so, I think if I'm coaching this team and I'm Brent Venables, which sucks because Hawkins is going to imagine Hawkins in that game. Against a second teamer, right? An anemic offense, not very explosive. He's going to go against 2 quarterbacks that are going to sling that thing. And I know LSU got their tail whooped tonight, but LSU is an offense that's going to go get us, especially playing them in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Playing them in Baton Rouge, brother. This is a game, and people are going, "Oh, Mackey." I'm just telling you, it would have been interesting to see what Hawkins could do in that environment because that team was less athletic than Auburn. You know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
If we keep them if we put them in positions where they've got to throw the ball, because somebody said it on the play that I tell you that Jackson hot dogs it, I think Hawkins scores on that play. On that zone read where he pulls it and that backside safety comes and takes the running back and there's no one there, just the 2 DBs covering our receivers. If that's Hawkins, I think he literally scores. And what does the game look like from there? What does the game look like if Jackson doesn't just overthrow Brennan on the RPO where he runs the bang 8 slant?
God, dude.
Brennan, if he hits him, Brennan might be out the gate. If he hits him in stride, Brennan, he has to jump. It's early in the game, but that's a play that if he hits that, who knows? That play could be a touchdown, and he misses. And us as fans, we're like, oh no, that play could have been a 60-yard play. That play could have, taken a ton of sting out of their team, ton of confidence out of their team. We miss it. And of course, we say everybody sucks, but no, the quarterback wasn't an executor on a play where he had a kill shot. You gotta hit the kill shots when you have the opportunity to get a kill shot.
Well, and he misses those throws. It's not because he can't, sit in the pocket with good position and see a guy and run and lead him and make it accurate. It is for whatever reason he feels the pressure and the angst to get the ball out, or to pat, right. It's different things at different times, but he never throws the ball with any kind of collectedness to him, right. It doesn't look decisive. It doesn't look like it's a throw that he's confident in, right. I think he's far too fearful now at this point of turning the ball over, which through now he's
That didn't
just
work.
fumbling it,
Yeah,
so
that
it
didn't
don't
work.
work. Yeah,
Why don't we run in receiver screens, bro? Do you know why? Because I sure as hell don't.
I don't. Then they think they can block it for Bauer, that they run. So it's like, and they obviously think Bauer's a good blocker too because they got to have him out there blocking 9 on the open. I'm like, well, what is going
Bro,
on?
they ran a jet sweep to Bauer, bro. And you see he tried to stop and he fell. I'm like, oh my God. Like
Yeah,
this is they run a
it's
throwback.
not.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Like
I don't understand it. The Bauer Sharp packages, that means Mac. There's probably a laminated sheet of paper that's nothing but plays for number 10. There's and then right
bro,
next to that is
he
plays for 87.
he caught like 7 0-yard speed outs. Like, what are we doing? He's
Yeah.
catching speed outs for 0 yards. I'm like, Jackson, stop throwing that damn play. It drives me
Yeah.
crazy. It
And
drives me
maybe with a
crazy.
different quarterback, different situation, maybe he does, play better. But he, man, I'll tell you who was going in on him tonight was Zach Sanchez. I don't know if you saw Zach. Zach was like,
His Twitter.
quit giving him on his Twitter. He's like, you got to quit giving him the ball. He is not a playmaker. That is not what he does. Stop giving 10 empty possessions, man. And it is. So I have a quick question. Then we'll mosey on out of here, man. We'll dive deeper into tomorrow. We'll do a rewatch. I know I'm going to post some things on Twitter. Go over to OU Insider. And reminder, if you guys aren't on OUinsider.com, go over there, grab a membership. We'll be going back and forth with the people. The play that was, golly, man, was that 4th down where OU gets stopped? It was a check at the line of scrimmage where had Jackson just
Kept it.
kept it, was that a check to a called run, or was that a check? Like, that's what I was trying to figure out. Was that just a called run and that's why Jackson didn't keep it, or did Jackson have the option to pull that?
I don't know. Here's what I know. It took Missouri 20 seconds to get the play in. The players organized and set, and we waited for them. So
Yeah,
the
especially to run
beauty of
that.
all of that is if that was the play we were running, we didn't need to wait. If you watch the play, they're standing up. They're not even in their stance. We've got a yard to get, and we're ready. And we don't run a play. We wait for them to get their call. Then we wait for them to get set. Then we look at the sideline, and that's the play we decide. I think it was a give, to be honest with you. I don't know, but I think it's a give. But gosh, Lee, they bring that backside safety again, and he blows it up. If Jackson keeps it,
Oh
it's a
man, he's
first down. If not out the gate. So
yeah. Because again, it was a game where it felt like Joe John schemed up some easy yards for the guys tonight. Like, there was stuff there, but it just, you can't, when your quarterback has 74 yards, you have like a 180 night, that's like, it might be the OC. When you have 74 yards of passing, that's on the quarterback a little bit.
A little
Es-
bit.
Especially D-Mac. So Missouri, you're right. Defensively, Tennessee had better athletes. Auburn had better athletes.
South
South
Carolina,
Carolina, better athletes. Right? I'm trying to think
Ole
who else have
Miss,
they?
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss, better athletes. How and this was and the offensive line played a better game in this one than they did in South Carolina. Than they
All
did. They were okay at Auburn. They were better against Auburn, but against South
time out,
Carolina and
time
against
out.
Tennessee,
Auburn, they had Hawkins, different
yeah,
quarterback. I mean, he's just different. He has issues too. By the way, everybody's saying Hawkins has never had Joe John Finley be his OC. Hawkins was in the
yeah,
same scenario with Seth Luttrell. We don't know what Hawkins could do. If I'm Coach BV, I'll say this will be my last thought of the night. I'm giving Hawkins
yeah.
another chance. If I'm BV, I need to know what the hell I got. And if I'm BV, I ask myself, am I willing to invest another $1 million in whatever they invested? I assume Jackson got $1 million.
It's in the
I'm not
millions. It's
I'm not paying Jackson Arnold $1 million to come back. Jackson, you can come back, but you're coming back on a regular scholarship. Whatever the team NIL is, that's what you get, son. Otherwise, go get that someplace else because it's a salary cap now. That $1 million reallocated to two offensive linemen, or reallocated to a Cam Ward, or reallocated to right, like it's relative to your to the market. It's economics now. I'm not giving Jackson Arnold $1 million to come back. Jackson, you can stay, but it'll be for the 50,000 that all the players get. Hawkins, I'll give you 100K because you could be the guy, but I'm not going to overpay for you. I'm going to reallocate that $1 million and I'm going to go get a guard, a tackle, and then I'm going to have more money to go get a proven quarterback who with whoever comes as my OC. We can't look at the game like we did 7 years ago. We got to look at the game
yeah,
like it's being played now. And that
yeah,
money is an investment towards people. You want to have proven commodities. We can't take no more. By the way, we played NIL for 58, Barry. We're paying for his services. He's getting a scholarship and he's getting
golly, man.
compensated for his name, image, and likeness. And
Uh,
by the way, there's some zeros. It's some commas and some zeros.
oh yeah, he's not. It's not nothing.
58. It's 100K or more. That's how much we're paying that young man. Good for him, right? He and his family.
Yeah,
But listen, we got to be smart with and wise with how we allocate those funds. And Jackson, the season is not over, right? So it just feels terrible. But like, there's no way in heaven we can ask him, or we can. I don't care if his family is like, if he doesn't start, he's leaving. If I'm Joe John, if I'm BV at this point, like I gotta. It's like. By the way, Barnes is not my like super duper starter. Barnes comes back, he gets to play the ball, but Xavier Robinson is playing.
yeah.
Xavier's
For me,
playing
it's
for me.
21 and 8, man. They've got to play those two guys. And 21, Xavier Robinson looked like he looked like the only guy this year so far that was like, oh, that's some NFL level running back film, right? The patience, the feet, the way he handled, the way he broke tackles, like we just haven't seen it. Like he's a guy who doesn't have negative plays, right? I mean, even Tatum, for as good as he's been in spots, like that was what made P Ryan so good. Was you give him the ball, it's not going for negative, right? He's going to get something out of it. Rarely is he tackled, but by the first person. And Xavier Robinson, man, the fact that that could not be seen, because what we said it about Barnes last week, they said it's cool you did 200 against Maine. I think they could have put any of these backs as a featured back and gotten 200 against Maine. Who will do it when they play Missouri, when they play a real team? Because Barnes has not done it. Just hadn't. His best game was against Ole Miss, and against Ole Miss, if you go back and really watch, he had some chunk plays, but he wasn't necessarily with Xavier. You felt like every time he was touching the ball, it was going for 4. It was going for 7. It was going for 11, and then for 6. They were in so many good situations at being ahead of the chains when he had the ball. The fact you can't see that, man, and you're right. I think offensive coordinators who are wanting this job, if they are not working for someone else right now, or even if they are, when they go back and watch this Sooner team, they are going to say, man, I would have to do a lot of work with Jackson. Or do they just say, I'm going to bring in the best guy available, a guy who I already have a relationship with? To me, that an OU is going to fork up the money for a guy like that. They were going to do it for Dart, right? They were going to have Dart and Gabriel and Jackson coming in. They were willing to do it. So they're going to be able to fork up a Cam Ward level prospect at quarterback, man. Closing thoughts.
Um, hey man, tough loss. I think doing a pod at the same night of the loss is an emotional space, but just clearly thinking Jackson may have played himself out of. I mean, I just think there's a lot of unknowns at this point, and there isn't anyone to blame in this scenario. Um, and so he's got to be held accountable for that. Our guys, 25 years straight with a bowl game, two games left. Um, Guys, if we sneak into the handkerchief A&T bowl game in El Paso, Texas, or Amarillo, Texas, or something, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be, man. Just we got to keep our heads up. We got 2 more games to play, and so I'm not gonna just like fall and die. I'm not gonna faint yet. I am very disappointed, upset, mad, just because that's a game we should win. Um, Defensively, we did do some good things. They ran the ball when they needed to, but we gave up too much, and we really just didn't bow up when we needed to. And I think that really hurt us. But offensively, you can't have 74 yards on 30 dropbacks, and for the folks who are a little more educated, you can't just blame the O line. The O line made running lanes for we ran the football. The O line did what they needed to
Yeah.
do there, right? There are plenty of times for Jackson to scramble and make a decision. He just didn't. And so, um, 2 weeks left, right? You gotta lick your wounds. You gotta get ready to play. If I'm Brent Venables, I'm seriously considering Casey Thompson or Hawkins. I will say this: Casey, his dad is a good friend. Casey's there more so to start his coaching career, to be a mentor to the young pups, right? That's if they had 2 season-ending injuries, he's a guy who could step up and play. But I don't think Casey is the same guy he was when he was at Texas or even at
Sure.
Nebraska. He's a guy who's getting himself prepared to go be a GA, maybe here, or an analyst, and then start his coaching career. So I wouldn't mind it because Casey does have a really good mind. But I'm putting the other pup in. I'm putting Hawkins in. I'm seeing what the kid can do with the limited playbook like Joe John created, and I'm dialing up for the next 2 weeks. I think this game cements it. Jackson's not back next season.
I think you're right. I think you're right, man. He ended up with what, 1, 2, how many turnovers tonight? He had
3.
the 3. Yeah, it was 3 turnovers. One of them goes for a score. The other one led to a score.
Oh, you talking about
And
Jackson's
just
directly
Jackson.
responsible for
What
2.
did
So
he
he
for
has
2? Okay. Yeah,
he
yeah,
has the fumble on the scramble early in the
yeah.
game. He has the fumble, obviously, for the scoop and score. Peyton Bowen has the
The
fumble,
muff.
and then Burks has the fumble. So
Yeah, that's right.
so Jackson has 2 of the 4.
Man, that's awful. Awful stuff. But what's not awful? OU Insider, OUinsider.com. Go over there, grab yourself a membership so you can talk all of the mess about 11, I'm not using names right now, about 11, about 10, about 58 if you want, even though 58 looked pretty good, 71, 77. Everett actually played a pretty good game too. Up in the OU's offensive line was not the worst thing on the field tonight. It just wasn't. And I think for those who go back and rewatch closely, it was not the deciding factor. I think that's what we got out of the pod tonight. We'll be back with more details. Go over there to our Chalk Talk. This one may be a fun Chalk Talk, or maybe not. Right? We'll dive in and maybe talk about this week some things where Hawkins might be an advantage. Who knows? Right? Because it appears that you can't win with Jackson in the SEC. That's just what it seems like. Even when your offense does have some rhythm in the run game, right? You still can't get it done. But go over there, grab yourself a membership, guys. Thank everybody for hopping on. Make sure to follow social media at @D_Mack13 on X. Follow me at BWise Fitness, at BWISE Fitness, and go check out the Barry and Mack Show at Barry and Mack SHW on Twitter. Thank you all for signing on. Get some good sleep, and we will see you soon.